biggest secret in the world to slow everything down. I on purpose slept till 8 o'clock Eastern time. Man, you don't realize how fast everything's going if you're just sleeping on purpose. So I don't know if that's the secret y'all were looking for, but actually, what I really truly like was up at 3 a.m. Central Time, 4 a.m. Eastern, while you guys were getting ready to launch this room, and it's kind of rainy here, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do my best to go back to sleep, and I'm just going to go like enjoy it, not just sleep to sleep, but enjoy it. And I'm really like a 5 hour guy. I really cannot sleep no matter what. My body will, as soon as it gets 5 hours, it's the brain starts kicking in, everything starts working, and I'm up and going. So normally I am moving fast and taking advantage of the fast moving world. So it's kind of funny that we're having this conversation today when I really like overslept by 2 hours, and I love it, and I did it on purpose. So, but no, it is. Yeah, it is moving so fast. And I think what Tony was talking about, even about knowing your why, there is a time where, well, there's a lot of people that maybe don't sleep in and take extra sleep on purpose. There are, I mean, my wife sleeps in the morning, and it's funny that she just commented on that the other day, that she can enjoy that morning and sleep in, but she works a little bit later. I just know that when you coach a lot of business people, and um, you don't have your direction, and you don't know what your why is, and you haven't figured out the passion, like you're in something where you are just grinding it out. It's the grindstone. And especially if you're at, a job, if you're in a job that is just, you feel like you're trapped there because maybe you've worked your way up and it's horrible. In fact, this is going to bring up another story that I just found out about from a friend the other day that might, I mean, it's got to be reality for a lot of people. He has been at a Ford, the Ford dealership, car dealership. His dad managed that thing while we were all in high school, had been there for 30 years. He got into the parts department. He was the parts department for the body shop, and he's been there since we were in school back in the 80s. And we went to lunch the other day. This is one of my best friends from high school. Went to lunch the other day, and he was telling me about how that parts manager finally got let go. I mean, we're talking big dude, big, high profile manager that's been there the whole time he's been there, his boss. And he goes, yeah, he got fired. And there was like a party with all the people that had been under his reign because he was such a horrible boss. And so this is coming from one of my really, I mean, great friends that's probably one of the most normal people on the planet. And we're at lunch, and he tells me, he just quit that position probably about 6 months, 9 months ago, something like that. And I just thought that was so weird that he went from running the whole department to just being an employee in the parts department, taking a salary cut. And he told me that day, he said, Brad, that guy got fired or whatever. So it was kind of a crazy day. I got a couple calls from other people that quit that had been there forever. And he told me, he's like, Brad, it was so bad. I mean, the reason why I quit and took the pay cut is because of him. I mean, he made my life miserable every day for 30 years. And I was like, what? He's like, dude, I really, really had thoughts about just ending it all and getting out. And I'm like, that one caught me off guard. So, and not that we're talking about this, but this awareness level of somebody dealing with, those kind of thoughts about taking your own life. I told him, I said, you are probably the most normal person I know on the planet. And if you would have done that, I don't know that I would have recovered from that. Like, I would have probably thrown in the towel and just thought everybody's going to go down that path eventually if you would have done that. He's like, no, I'm serious. So, what I'm getting at here is that if you're in a miserable position and if you're trapped in that, you might need, that's where you're probably going to sleep in on purpose and just avoid it as much as you can. And when you know what your why is, what your passion is, and I just love that there's a lot of speakers out there that you can turn anything you want to do into an unbelievable passion that would give you the energy to wake up at 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. and jump out of bed on purpose and go to work on it, if you have to then go to your other thing until you can get out. And you need to know that passion and that why. I mean, Tony, bees, honey, right? Somebody, if they are passionate about bees, they can turn that into an empire. And I don't know if yours is on a path for an empire or you do it because you love to do it, but either way, you know what your passion is for bees. And there's a time where you could probably sleep in if you wanted to, but you're up taking care of stuff and bees because you've got other stuff going on throughout the day that you're also passionate about. So here's what I'll tell you about the world going fast, is that there is always going to be enough time in there for you to squeeze in something if you chunk it out and if you do it a little bit day by day by day. Just chunk out a little piece and really just start with, I've said this before, start with a timeline of where you are today. I'm at ground zero, and where I'd like to be in 5 years is own a bee empire with honey jars in every grocery store of every major city of the country. And you just got to figure out what that timeline is. And there's a step one that you got to go through first. So no matter how fast the world is moving, and it is moving fast, you got to do step one before you can go to step two. You got to do step two before you can go to step three. And you just put that in just one little slice of your day. And if it means that you do have to get up earlier than you're normally getting up, then you do that, right? So that's kind of my share today. I hope that spoke to somebody, and I hope it, the world I live in is I don't let the speed of what's happening around me distract me or pressure me or stress me out to try and catch up to it. I just look at what on right now and I focus on that one thing and I get it done. And there are things sitting around that still need to get done. And you know what? They'll get on my schedule someday. I've got some rocks I need to move from a new landscaping thing, moving from mulch to rock. I've got to get those around the front of the house, and there's a little pile sitting there, and they've been there for a week. And guess what? The world is still working. The world hasn't fallen apart. So just focus on the now, and don't get caught up in how fast everything's going. You're going to make it happen at your pace, the way it's supposed to.
Love it. For the record, I am not planning on creating a bee empire. Even though if you saw my bee yard, you would think I am, because it keeps freaking expanding. But no, that's awesome, and I think you're absolutely right. It's about figuring out what it is that you want, taking steps and actions in that direction. And again, we all make time for what we need to make time for. And there's things that I need to make more time for. I haven't, and it's sometimes it's. Perhaps it's for failure, for whatever it is, but it could be a host of different things. But again, it is about getting out of your own way and see that compelling future, see whatever it is that what you want also wants you, and why is it that important to you? So take some steps. Like, again, speaking to myself, as I do, as most of the stuff that I do, it's conversations that I've had with myself most of the time, always conversations that I've had with others, and things that have helped me get to the other side of it. So anyway, Michelle, back to you, so you can keep on moving. We have a few more people.